Another month and another opening where I talk about needing a new bookshelf. Well, haven't done that yet, but it's going to happen soon. But like I always say, guys, these are good problems to have. Let's talk about February's additions to the home library. Hey, what's up, bookworms and book collectors and all those with bad buying habits when it comes to books? I am Mike, and we're going to talk about some new additions to the home library for the month of February of 2021. Another busy month because you guys are super generous, and I got to talk about it. Let's do like usual, guys. Let's kick things off by talking about Kindle Books, because why? They matter. They always will matter. I'm always going to talk about digital purchases because I've always got those digital credits to burn before they expire. And I know some of you have the same issue. I get a lot of requests on this channel for David Gemmell. Now, when I started reading John Gwynne, the name David Gemmell kept coming up a lot. And guys, I have an interest. I just don't know when I'll have the time. But I went ahead and picked up almost the, well, actually I think it's the entire series of the Drenai saga. I don't know if that's where I should start with David Gemmell, but that's the one that looked the nicest and it looked the most prevalent. It looked to be the most popular, so that's the one that I chose. So if there's more David Gemmell that I don't know about that you guys think I should start with besides that, I think it's like Regante or something like that. I don't even know. I don't even know, but Drenai was the one that seemed to be the most popular and had the best deal, so that's the one that I went with. And then there's a series called The Left Hand of God by Paul Hoffman. Couldn't tell you the first thing about it. I really couldn't. Again, Goodreads recommendation. I'd never really heard of it before. Usually I'll tell you I've heard of it from my guy Patrick. I don't think he actually reviewed this one. Maybe he did. I don't even remember. But it was just one that popped up in my you like this series, so you might like this. And it actually seemed pretty accurate. So, again, good deal. Couldn't say no. As well as with this next one, which is the Chaos Queen series by Christopher Husberg. This is another one of those students of Brandon Sanderson, I believe, much like Brian McClellan. I don't know that they went to study them at the same time or not, but a lot of Sanderson fans have said this series is very underrated. I believe the final book is coming out here in a couple of months in that series, 5 books total, and it'll be done. So you got my attention with, hey, the series is complete. So anytime that happens, I'm going to listen a little bit. But again, these are our 3 authors I've never read, don't really have much to add. But I've heard enough about them that I said, okay, and pulled the trigger on buying them. Now let's talk about some of the physical purchases that I treated myself with a bit this month. Last month, you might have heard me talk about Peter F. Hamilton and the Night's Dawn trilogy, not be able to find book 2 for a decent price. Well, one finally popped up on Amazon, and I said, hey, that's a decent price. And it says it's in used like new condition. Look at that. Yeah, used like new. Can you guys see this? Big old crack in the spine, frayed edges. It looks like it's from 1972. So again, that's the risk that you have when you go on Amazon. But hey, at least I got the series complete now, and I don't know when I'll get to these massive little monsters, but it'll happen eventually. I'm glad I've got it complete. Then I had Target had one of their buy 2 get 1 sales because Amazon was doing their buy 2 get 1 free. So of course Target has to match that, and I love it. I love it when they compete because it's great. And I picked up a couple of books there. One is Northern Wrath. This is the first book in the Hanged God trilogy. I'm going to butcher this name, Thild Cold Holt. I don't know. I really, honestly, guys, it looks like a John Gwynne cover. And I said, sure, that looks really cool. Decent reviews on Goodreads, so I said, why not? The author actually interacted with me. So, you know, I'm always a sucker for when that happens, but don't have much to add about it. I just needed a 3rd book because the other 2 were The Fisherman by John Langan. This is going to be one that's going to be in spooky season this year. I'm not doing Fright Fest again, but I will be doing something I call spooky season, which I'm just going to read some horror novels. The whole month isn't going to be horror again because that was a big plane crash. But I do want to read this because I've heard But yeah, that's one I want to check out because I've heard mostly great things in the horror community about it. And the 3rd book I got in that deal was the 2nd book in, what's the series called? The Legacy Trilogy? Matthew Ward's Legacy of Steel. Again, I don't have much feedback on these because I haven't read them yet, but John Gwynn recommending them is the whole reason that I picked these up or whatever. So that's 2 books I bought this month because either they look like a John Gwynn book or John Gwynn recommended them. I think that man is a bad influence on me. Then I treated myself a little bit here. You might have seen him in the background if you have a keen eye. I know some people have seen them. I already had the Sword of Shannara trilogy collection. I went ahead and picked up the other 3. And I think that these are the only ones that he's done in a collection up to this point, Terry Brooks, of Shannara. This is a Heritage of Shannara, all 4 books in that series right there. And that's as far as I've read in the series, guys. It's a Heritage. I never got in the Voyage of whatever that is. And I never got into the High Druids of Shannara. But these collections were very, very handsome. I saw, there's a guy I like to buy books off of on eBay, and he cut me a nice little deal on those because I decided to buy all 3 of them. So yeah, again, sometimes guys, I can't say no to a good bargain, and I'd like to add some more. I've gotten so much into just buying like trade paperbacks. So I want to make sure I kept adding hardcovers because I do still prefer to read out of hardcover when I got the chance. But now, guys, I'm going to talk about the stuff that you guys sent me this month, and again, I am overwhelmed by this. Check this out. Now, back when I did my my female fantasy authors that I want to read, one that came up was Naomi Novik. I said Spinning Silver was one that I wanted to try, but a lot of people have said you should be reading it. I think it's called Temeraire or something like that, the trilogy. And my guy Orion, one of the moderators on my Discord, got me this this set of all 3 of that trilogy. And I wish I had more to tell you about it. I've heard nothing but really, really great things about Miss Novik, so I'm obviously very interested. Again, with some of these, I have no idea what I'm getting to them, but I want you guys to know how much I appreciate them, and they will be taking a priority over just something that's been kind of laying on the back burner for a while because you guys were nice enough to send them to me. They don't look like they'll be long reads. I'm not really sure. I don't know. The guy that sent this to me is a crazy, crazy Malazan fan, so I don't know. This might be really, really dense, and I'm not even ready for it. Who knows? This Jennifer actually sent me The Mists of Avalon. Now, this is a book I've heard about for a long time because if you guys watched that one weekly update where I talked about showing my kids Excalibur and how much I was really into the Arthurian legend way back in high school and thought it was a really, really good teaching moment. Ever since that, I've always heard a lot of people recommend Mists of Avalon, basically, you know, the women behind Arthur kind of thing. So that's a story I could absolutely get behind. Don't know when I will get to this, but thank you. It's been on my radar for quite a while. This one, I don't know if it came without a name or I accidentally lost the slip for it. So if you're the one who sent me this, please let me know because I would love to give you a personal shout out. I believe it just came with like the thank you note in it, and you can scan that and you can send them a personal thank you. But this is Gideon the Ninth. Again, like I said, I apologize. I don't know if it had a name in it and I just didn't get it. So if you're the one who sent this to me, please let me know. I was interested in this just based off the cover where it says lesbian necromancers explore a haunted gothic palace in space. Is that a blurb or what? My guy Lockie continues to keep his run going here. He has to send me something every month, and I do appreciate that Lockie thinks of me so much because he keeps sending me awesome stuff. He's been trying to convince me about Guy Gavriel K. I've gotten so used to saying GGK, you guys. Sorry, but he says that this is the good place to start. A lot of people have told me Tagana is the place to start. A lot of people said Tagana is a terrible place to start. So, well, Lockie bought this for me, so this will be where I start when I finally do dip into GGK. I had Nicholas Eames, he wrote Kings of the Wild. I had him on the channel, and he had nothing but amazing things to say. That's his favorite author. So, obviously, my interest was already piqued, and now that Lockie keeps treating me so nicely, thank you, brother. Of course, that will be one that I move up. This one's from a published author. This is from Mike Shackle. We Are the Dead. Now, this is one where I already had a copy, but when an author sends you an autographed copy with, you know, cool art and stuff like that with it, how are you not going to want to keep this version? So I now have 2 copies of that book. Maybe I'll do a giveaway or something like that for the other copy. I don't know. When I get to reading that, I'll make that decision. But always cool when a published author wants to send you something. I had deleted my Twitter account, and he was trying to actually find me. So he started a hashtag campaign, where is Mike? And someone on the Discord actually reached out to me and said, hey, Mike Shackle's trying to get in touch with you. And when that happens, you make sure you get a point. So I was actually able to get a hold of his email, and we had a little bit of correspondence, and I will definitely be picking that series up sometime soon, because that's one that my guy Patrick does say many great things about. This one is from Mark, one of my patrons, reached out and said that a book that he thinks a Stephen King fan would really like. This is The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. This is one I'm going to be adding to spooky season as well. Stephen King had a really good blurb on the front of it. Anytime that happens, obviously it will raise an eyebrow, but I had never heard of it before he sent it to me, and then I looked it up and I see it's actually quite popular among the horror community. So again, spooky season is going to be a good time this year. Plenty to talk about when it comes to that. And this is kind of a funny one. This one was given to me by my wife. She watched my Books That Made Me Cry video, and she saw a lot of the comments, and she agreed with one of them that The Book Thief is a book that will make you draw out a lot of tears, and you'll need a lot of tissue. I can confirm that when she was reading it, yes, I saw what the reaction was. So I say that besides The Shack, this is the book that I saw that made her cry the most. So always nice when your wife decides to add to your haul, especially when she's the one that's telling you, yeah, no more books, cut it out, you know. When I interviewed Christopher Rocchio, that's the author of the Sun Eater saga, he talked about Tim Powers. And so he sent me a copy of a Tim Powers book. Like he says, if it feels like it's a King fan would really like it. And another one by DJ Butler called Witchy Eye. These are two authors I don't know a lot about outside of what he has told me. But Mr. Rocchio, thank you so much. I don't really know what to say. Something to talk about Rocchio here in a minute. But again, anytime you've built a decent relationship with a published author, it's a really cool thing. Christopher is a really nice dude. He is actually on our Discord, and he talks to all kinds of people there and seems to be enjoying it quite a bit. So I just think it's great that the Discord's become a place where even published authors feel it's like a good environment to come and talk to people who might be curious about the craft, about how to write, as well as, you know, to talk about their own series and answer some questions and things like that. And Christopher does both, and we're happy to have him there. And thank you very much for the book, sir. Got this one the other day from Chris. He's the guy who does a lot of the 3D printing stuff. Like he sent me that Fear is the Mind Killer one. A lot of the things you see back there, my Doctor Who stuff. He sent me Shaboomy. He said that he felt like it was a really good idea for someone maybe needing some standalones. It's a book that influenced John Wick. It actually even made a cameo in the movie. So you had me at John Wick, really. So thank you, Chris. As always, anytime that you guys send me anything, I'm always grateful. And I think he sent me a Tad Williams book that I've still got to read. But I'm starting Tad Williams next year, my man, so it could possibly happen. Then another one of my patrons, this one's from Steph, one of my pals. We are reading Grisha books together. Not really, I mean, she's already read them. But we talked about wanting to read that series before the Netflix series comes out. And she said, look, I'm not going to lie, Shadow and Bone, not exactly your bag, but I think that you might actually like Six of Crows. So I want to send you Six of Crows. So thank you, Steph. You are awesome as always. I promise that I'll probably read this before I get to the Dresden, not Dresden, what is it called? Codex Alera books that you already sent me. So I remember everything you guys send me to, even if I haven't read them yet. Just know that it's going to happen eventually. And Six of Crows, if it wasn't being adapted for Netflix, I'd read Codex Alera first, but this is where we are. Now look, books are nice. Don't get me wrong. It's when people send you a really kind letter, that's when you realize, hey, what you're doing actually makes a difference. You know, I have no problem if someone just wants to send me a book so they can hear me say their name. That's great. I have no problems doing that. I don't think that that's anything special, but if it feels special to you, hey, that's awesome. It's the best way that I can repay you. When you have someone who sends you a letter about how much your channel has meant to them during really tough times, that's something that's really going to stick with you. And that happened to me twice this month. First, Dalton, one of my patrons, sent me a couple of books here. He sent me Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Burnett and the first book in the Bastard series, Gray Bastards by Jonathan French. And he also sent me a Stephen King book I didn't have, and that, of course, is Charlie the Choo Choo, which he wrote under his pseudonym. And Dalton, yes, I read this to my 5-year-old, and he loved it. So it's a good time all around. But again, the letter he sent me, I won't rehash exactly what was in the letter, but just know that I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that I was able to help you guys out during that really, really tough time. It's something that, you know, I went through a couple of years ago, and I understand exactly what you're going through. It's really, really tough to deal with something like that. So any ounce of happiness that I was able to give you guys during that time, I'm so happy to hear that I was able to do that. And thank you so much for the books. I do appreciate it. But always, the kind words mean so much. I do appreciate it. And lastly, some of you guys might not know, I had a thing come up about like 6-8 weeks ago where I was getting a lot of hate mail. And I was getting a lot of nasty messages and things like that. But without getting too far into that, I had someone drop in on my Instagram and said, "Hey, Mike, I'd like to send you something that isn't on your Amazon wish list. How do I go about doing that? Where can I mail it?" And like I said, at the time, I was like, this feels like a trick because, you know, everybody's mad at me right now. I don't want somebody sending me anthrax or something. But so I went ahead and I gave him my my office address and just said, "Hey, yeah, just send it here." I didn't expect anything to actually show up, but when it did, I was kind of opening it at a distance, like, oh boy. But I actually audibly gasped when I opened it because I could not believe what I was seeing. You guys might know I've been complaining for a while that I wasn't able to find Empire of Silence by Mr. Rocchio on hardcover. This gentleman, Connor, sent me a really nice letter and basically sent me his personal copy from his own library. I cannot explain how amazing that is. And it's just such an incredibly kind gesture. But again, the letter he sent was just right here. I cannot express how much kind words like that mean to me, you guys. Like, again, if I am making a difference in your life, then that's everything that I've ever wanted this channel to be. I want it to be an escape for people. I want it to be entertainment for people. Again, if I make your commute that is terrible 1 minute better, then hey, the goal of this channel has been accomplished. So anytime that you guys send me something, just know that I appreciate it. Be it words, be it just a nice message on Goodreads. It doesn't have to be books or anything like that. I appreciate each and every one of you. I remember everything that you guys send me, and I have no problems giving you a shout out. But just know that right here, I appreciate every single one of you, and I cannot say thank you enough. So guys, is there anything you picked up in February that you want to talk about? Drop in the comments and let me know, and I will talk to you there.